Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So up to this point, we done a couple of naming already. We did ionic bonds. Remember, ionic is between metal plus non-metal or with the polyatomic ions. Atomic ions. There you go. Okay. And then ionic formulas, we need to cross charges. The key thing is we need to find the charges of those ions. We cross charges, and there's rules for naming ionic. And then the second one we just did is covalent, or aka they form molecular compounds. Okay, this is between non-metal plus a non-metal, and this is where we use the prefixes. So follow the rule for the prefixes. And so today right now what we are covering is naming acids. Okay, they follow a different set of rules, and most of the time acids will start with a hydrogen. Could be H, H2, H3, depending on what it's paired with. So the rule for naming acids is fairly simple. So first of all, you count how many. We zoom in real quick here. You count how many elements there are. Right? When it says here, the anion, which is the second part, has contained oxygen. Okay? Use the prefix hydro and root of the anion's name ik in the word acid. So basically it's two elements. So this is for two elements only. Two elements. That means hydrogen plus something else. Hydrogen plus something else, plus Cl, for example. Hydrogen plus Br, right? So you'll find that two elements and you'll name it hydrobromic. Change the ending of the second part, ik, and then throw in the word acid. So hydro, let's look at your list here. Which one's two elements? There's Hi, Hf, okay? Two elements, okay? H and I, H and F, H and Cl there. So you name it hydro. Okay, so with hydro for two elements. Again, two elements start with hydro. And then chlorine becomes chloric. Change the ending to ic and throw on the word acid. Okay, hydrochloric acid. And so Hi down here, what would you name that? Hydro iodine iodic acid. You guys can read this in a couple of interesting ways, but I pronounce it as hydroiodic acid. Okay, so two elements, hydro, and then change the ik and throw on the word acid. Okay, fairly simple there. When it does contain oxygen, here, that means it has a polyatomic ion. All right, has a polyatomic ion, meaning that you have to change the ending a little bit following its own rule. If the polyatomic ion ends with 8, you change it to ik. When a polyatomic ions end with ite, like nitrite, it'll be nitrous. Change the ending to us. If it's nitrate, it'll be nitric. Okay? On these, there's no hydro. All right? No hydro. For example, this first one over here, HClO. So you look at the polyatomic ion, ClO. On your list, what is ClO? Refer back to that list, and you'll find that it's hypochlorite. Okay? So this is hypochlorite. What do we change the ite to? We change the ite to us. Hypochlorous. And just throw on the word acid. Hypochlorous acid. Don't mistake this for hydro. Okay, this is not hydro. This is hypo. That's the name of the polyatomic ion. Look at the next one. HPO4. There is a polyatomic ion. If you don't know what these are, where do you look? You look at my pink periodic table or your own periodic table with the list of polyatomic ion. This is phosphate. Okay? So you change it back to phosphoric acid. Not phosphic, okay? Just you got to change back to like phosphorus, but change it to phosphoric acid. So no hydro, why? Because there's more than 2 elements. Okay? So that's how you name the ones over this side, on the right side of this paper here. Take a couple minutes, do those, and then I will show you how to do the left side. The left side over here, to write the formulas, what you need to do is determine whether or not it has a polyatomic ion. So how do you know if it has a polyatomic ion? It has a polyatomic ion if there is no hydro. If you don't see hydro, that means there's a polyatomic ion in there. Okay, so they're all acids, so they all start with H. Okay, H plus. H is always plus 1. H plus 1. So you can go all the way down and write H plus on all of them, right? Because H is plus 1, and so write H plus. Nitric comes from what? Is it nitrate or nitrite? Okay, so you have to go back. It comes from 8. So this comes from nitrate, which is NO3, which is minus 1. And so acids are basically a type of ionic compound because they're made up of 2 ions, the hydrogen ion and the polyatomic ion here, or a halogen ion or whatnot. Okay, so plus 1, minus 1, they cancel each other out again. Then here you put just HNO3. That would be your formula. Plus 1, minus 1. There are cases where it's not plus 1 and minus 1. And you'll see if you go to sulfurous down here, no hydro, so we know that there is a polyatomic ion in there. Sulfurous, us comes from ite, right? So it comes from sulfite, which is SO3, 2 minus. So SO3, 2 minus. And now look at the charges here. Negative 2 and positive 1. So you have to cross that 2 over, so you get H2SO3. That would be your formula for sulfurous acid. Okay, so look for hydro. If there's no hydro, there is a polyatomic ion. As opposed to look at the one that has hydro. There's hydrobromic, hydrochloric. Okay, the ones with hydro is a lot easier because it's only 2 elements. Hydro is, you know, that's H plus. Chloric comes from the element chlorine. Just 1 element, no polyatomic ion because there's hydro. Hydrochloric Cl is minus 1, so it's just HCl. Okay. Notice my final formula. There's never charges on the final formula. Okay. The charges are only to help you find the formula to get those numbers at the bottom. All right. So let's do another one or 2 more. Hydrofluoric, down here. What does hydro tell you? It's only 2 elements. Very good. H plus, and then add on the other part. Fluoride comes from fluorine, which is minus 1. It's just HF. Okay, that's it. That's your formula there. Voila, pretty simple. Okay, what about phosphorus acid down here? Phosphorus acid. Is there hydro? No hydro. So it has a polyatomic ion. Us comes from ite, right? So you need to look for phosphite. And sadly, phosphite is not on your polyatomic ion list, but it's actually PO3, 3 minus, okay? Phosphite is PO3, 3 minus. Phosphate is PO4. Phosphite is PO3. So again, write your hydrogen for your acid. PO3, 3 minus. Look at the charge here. Minus 3 and plus 1. Cross it. I get H3PO3, phosphorus acid. The key here again, I don't know how many times I need to repeat it. If there's no hydro, there is a polyatomic ion. If there is a hydro in the name, that means there is only 2 elements. H and then something else. That makes it hydro, okay? No hydro, polyatomic ion. 8 becomes ick. Ite becomes us, O-U-S. Cools. Then you might have this other one to just emphasize or reteach what you just learned. What is a binary acid? Well, don't move on to this one until you finish the other one, okay? Pause it, finish the other one, and then move on to this one. But I'm going to put it in one video to make it simple. All right. Binary acid means hydrogen with one more element, like HF, HCl, H2S, things like those. Okay, there's still two elements. What is monoatomic ion? Monoatomic ion is an ion that is one element, like Cl minus or Br minus. One element makes an ion. Polyatomic ions are things like multiple elements together to make a compound, an ion. Phosphate. There's phosphite that's popular but not on your list. Phosphite 3 minus. Okay. Where are the halogens located? In group 17, right? Easy. Okay. So this one is just a review over what we just did on the first worksheet here. Positive ion in this is H plus. H plus, really they're all H plus because these are all acids. The negative ion is the Br. The negative ion on this one is NO3 minus. Get the right charges on there, okay? And then name them, following the same name. And you'll see that these things, these acids, there's only a limited number of it, so you see it's so repetitive. Some of them you'll have memorized without even trying. That's a nice thing about it. Okay. And then after you finish that, jump over, guys. If you're not finishing it, make sure you pause it and then finish it, and then continue my videos. Okay. So bases are made up of looks like it's a metal plus metal and a hydroxide ion. I hope this is right, but sounds right with the OH at the end. Hydroxide's OH. Remember that? Metal with hydroxide ion. These are periods and families on the periodic table. Huh? Oh, there are 7 periods and 18 families. Okay. The first group is called the alkali metals. The second group is called the alkaline earth metals. Alkali means, I don't know. Google that, please. I don't remember what alkali means. And here, positive ion here, and the first thing is Ba, and get the charge, and there's 2 plus. The negative ion is the OH minus the second part here. Okay. The name, you name it, barium hydroxide. This is easy. You already know how to name these things based off of what we did on the naming. Okay, fairly simple. And the right formulas, yeah, formula same thing. Strontium hydroxide, Sr is 2 plus, and then OH is minus 1. So this is nothing new here. Now you just realize, oh, it has a hydroxide, it's a base. That's all. Okay, you've already done this. OH2 because we crossed that 2 over. Okay, when you do put parentheses. All the charges in the compound must cancel out to 0. Just a quick introduction for acid base here. If a chemical has a pH of 7, it is neutral. Higher than 7, it is a base. Lower than 7, it is an acid. Name 3 acids you might encounter in your home. Okay? Not the drug acid. Just like acids that we already went over. Okay? Finish this. You'll get the stamp pretty soon. Goodbye. Peace out.